And those games are not being played on this side of the aisle, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Let us stick to the bill and be cordial to both sides, please. Senator Keane.
Mr. Chairman, that's a very interesting statement, and I'm going to ask for a little leeway on that statement. Let's take a step back here. Let's take a step back a few years when we had a bill and we had a person bring a bill for medical marijuana and it was voted down. And it went out to the people on a referendum, which many issues that we vote down here go out on a referendum. And it passed. And as Senator Murphy said, some people started to use it. And we did have a transformation. And we came back, as was discussed, with a bill, a bipartisan bill, that was brought forward. And then because of the election and the way the election turned out, that bill wasn't moved forward. The bill that was moved forward was a repeal. And let's be honest about this tonight. If you take a look at the bills and who's carrying the bills and who's carrying the important bills, it's not many people on this side of the aisle. And those of us who have been there understand that. We may not like it, and it may not be right, but that's the way it is in politics. So let's talk about Senator Brown's issue at a later date on this. So as we go through this session and go through the budget process, which is part of this bill, because there are many people affected in the budget that were harmed, and this side of the aisle didn't like what happened in there. So we get to a simple point in the legislature where we're trying to figure out how we're being harmed on this side of the aisle, because it hasn't been pleasant. In my time in the legislature, this is by far the worst session I've had in the minority. And I've been in the minority except for one-time tie. By far the worst. And the one time we ask for something, and you can say, I'm the one that asked. Do you know why I asked? I asked to see how worse it's going to get. And I found out yesterday. You go up to your caucus and talk about the 28 to 22 and give yourself high fives. I understand that, because I've been in the minority. But what I figured out yesterday, and what this caucus figured out yesterday, we're going to get that the rest of this session. And in politics, it's important to figure that out. And you can continue to do it to us, but sometime on these important issues, we do need to talk. It's not happening. You talk about political games on bills. This has been a big one. There's been a lot of other ones. That's going to continue to happen. We figured that out yesterday. Thank you for that. I didn't know Lazarus, but I know about being in the Montana House and Senate. And I know when something isn't right. We need to get to an issue. 70% of my Senate district voted for this. Repeal isn't the way to go. Senator Essman, you do have a good bill, but you could have talked to us and you won't. So sometime we need to talk on this bill and other bills. This is not a good vote, and we're going to continue to vote no until somebody starts talking to us around here at some time. And we don't have much time left. We've been here 70 days working on this issue, which could have got settled 2 weeks ago. And we haven't been there. And we haven't settled a lot of other issues. which I'm talking off the bill and I'll sit down. Vote no.